Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. We gain insight in order to move forward in life. Today, we'll be discussing how you can rewire your brain for success in the next 30 days. But before we get into that, if you guys have been enjoying the podcast, remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, and let me know any topics you would like me to discuss in the future. So, without further ado, let's get into the topic of this episode. So, I'm going to give you guys 5 points on how you can start to change your mind and start to believe you can have success in the next 30 days. So, the first point is the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain is always changing based on what you feed it. By intentionally rewiring your thought patterns, you could shift your mindset and habits towards success. This is so true. And I don't know too much about the science behind this, but I do have anecdotal evidence within myself because I know I am way more capable of achieving something when I tell myself on a consistent basis that I can. So it's very important to not only the content you consume and what you're hearing from other people, but also what you tell yourself. You have to have a positive mindset with any venture that you put yourself through because that's what will allow you to start to believe that you can achieve great things. So it really matters what you're feeding your brain on a day-to-day basis. The next point is the 30-day habit rule. Science shows that consistent repetition over 30 days can form new neural pathways. Focus on daily micro improvements to create lasting change. This is so important because people always think that you need to do the most amount of change within a day-to-day basis. Like this today I wasn't reading at all, tomorrow I need to finish a whole book within 5 hours. It's like that's not how it works. If you actually want to build a new habit and stay consistent with that new habit, you have to just do a little bit of that habit every single day. If it's reading, using that analogy again or using that example, is instead of wanting to read 5 chapters a day, which before that you weren't even reading one, tell yourself I'm going to read 5 pages today. And once you see that you consistently start to read 5 pages a day, 5 pages a day, eventually that becomes easy. And when that becomes easy, you can move on to the next habit that you are trying to implement into your life. And that's the thing, is you also don't want to bite off more than you could chew. You don't want to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do all these different types of things, and then you don't keep up with any of them because you set out to do too much. So it's just about micro improvements on a day-to-day basis and staying consistent with them. The next point is eliminating mental junk. Negative thoughts and limiting beliefs are what hold you back. Start by identifying and replacing self-doubt with empowering beliefs through affirmations and visualizations. This is important. Like I was saying earlier, is what you tell yourself, what you envision for yourself, right? A lot of the times people won't start something new because they can't even imagine themselves doing it in the first place, right? It's like some people, the joke is, oh, everyone says they're going to start a podcast. Let's take a quick break to speak about the sponsor for the podcast. I am now working with a company called Attilius Apparel, and if you want Christian fitness wear that looks like this, or this, click the link in the description. Now let's get back into the podcast. To never do, right? So you just telling yourself that like I'm going to make that joke but I know I'm not going to do it is what's not going to allow you to start in the first place and then stay consistent with it. So what you tell yourself is very important. And I like this point here because it's about replacing the self-doubt with positive affirmations, about telling yourself that you're capable of this, right? And the best way to actually start to believe you're capable of things is to remember the times where you did difficult things, when you did something that you thought you couldn't do in the first place, but you did it anyways. That is the best way to start believing in yourself, because it could all be a bunch of bullshit. People say like, oh, like what you tell yourself affirmations. A lot of people think it's wishy-washy, but it's true. You need to actually tell yourself positive things and things that make sense or are realistic to you and what you believe realism is in your own life. And then you'll start to believe these things. And especially, you got to ask yourself this: how many times are you doubting yourself on a day-to-day basis? No matter if it's just a simple task, are you doubting yourself that you're capable of doing it? If you're doubting yourself, 10 to 15 times a day, you need to replace that with 10 to 15 times where you're telling yourself you are capable of doing it. So that's the biggest thing as well, is just replacing your beliefs from self-doubt to positive things, to things that you tell yourself when you're going to do something hard, but you believe you could do it anyways. The next point is the role of environment and input. Your brain adapts to what you consume. Surround yourself with successful, growth minded people and fill your mind with valuable content such as books, podcasts, and mentors. And this is huge. Your environment is what allows you to believe what is achievable, right? The biggest change for me in these past couple months was getting a mentor that was in business, that had success in business and could show me the way. Because a lot of the times, even with the stuff you watch online, there's always a subconscious idea that maybe this person's lying to you, maybe this person's being dishonest, maybe they don't actually have what they say they have, right? So getting that mentor that's in person, that cares for your success, it will make you start to believe that success is for you, that success can happen to you, and it could be something that is a consistent thing in your life, always succeeding in whatever you set your mind to. So having a mentor is super important. And then having books that are helping you, that are giving you new ideas, giving you new perspectives, right? I'm reading this book right here. I'm going to try to get it without dropping anything. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. And this book's great because it's giving me a different perspective on people's psychology and people's behavioral patterns, right? So if you're consistently learning things, you will allow yourself to have a more positive mindset and to see opportunity, right? And that's the biggest thing. And my mentor always says that is you need to be able to identify opportunities and take action, right? Because if you don't see the opportunity in the first place, action means nothing, because what are you taking action on anyways, right? And then what else I said before was the idea of having people around you that have a growth mindset and have success. When you're around these people, you can't help but what they do rubs off on you. You can't help it. If they're seeing success and they're telling you about the ventures they're going through and how they're succeeding, you start to feel really good about yourself, and you start to tell yourself that I could do what they do, right? And especially people that are always seeking growth, because not only by extension you seeing their growth will allow you to grow, they'll also help you with your journey as well. The next thing and the final point is taking action and reinforcing progress. Rewiring your brain isn't just about thinking differently, it's about acting differently. Small, consistent wins train your brain to expect success and build momentum, right? Because that's where it gets into the whole wishy washy thing. And we speak about the law of attraction and believing that you could do something and then by extension it will happen. But the main thing in all of this is taking action. You could say to yourself all you want that you want to become better, you want to achieve these great things, but if you don't take any action to make these things happen, they will all just remain in your mind and it will never become a reality. So that is the thing. You take action on a consistent basis, you focus on consistency and not intensity, and you will see that momentum will start to build. And as it builds, it will allow you to push further because now you have results. So take action, my friend. Out of all the things I've mentioned in this podcast, you need to rewire your brain, think more positively, and do all those other things I said. But after watching this, take action on something that you know you're supposed to be doing right now and do it. Click off this video and leave. Go do it. Because I'm telling you, that is the only way you'll see progress in life. Thinking about it all the time, reading about it in books, talking about it with friends isn't going to change anything. Are you going to do it today? Are you going to put the work in today in order to get to that point of your life, right? That's all I wanted to say when it comes to rewiring your brain. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you tuning in. Remember, if you enjoyed this podcast, like, comment, subscribe, and also follow the account on Spotify. Take care, everybody, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.
crush a coal to a diamond, eyes forever shining. Your beauty alone inspire a nigga to rhyming.